All right, so so based on that, that was the end of shit. I pressed the wrong thing. Gotta go on. So that was the end of um it was Blood Count, and it was Deeper Than Hell. That was the end of Deeper Than Hell. But I never went through the entire story of Deeper Than Hell because I wasn't interested in that. I was interested in telling the story of Blood Count. And then from Blood Count, we're going to proceed to the beginning. We're going to proceed to the beginning and the end of the next adventure. The ones that matters because these individual missions are like, I would say they're about 30 minutes. These maps and how you have to wait and do certain things within the missions, I would say they're about 30 minutes apiece to accomplish certain things within the mission. Within the mission, not only traverse the area, but also to wait on certain, um, defend the target, um, follow, um, or destroy, or capture. This game has it all, basically. Anything any game has, this game has it. I guess the capture part, I wouldn't say the capture part is about the only part it doesn't have, but every other thing this game has. Um, maybe, maybe, maybe a mission that has to do with destroying someone overseas on the water. It doesn't have. So anything that has to do on water and the air, it doesn't have. Everything's pretty much planted on the ground, but it doesn't even matter. If the game has it, it doesn't matter where it is. So I'm going to proceed forward from where I last was. And as stated in the DLC, Terror Lab and Deeper Than Hell are okay, but they're not that good. Blood Count is where it starts to get good from beginning to end. And then the next one is Damnation Valley. So from the first mission to the last mission, that's what I'm going to do. And same with Alpine Blitz and Dead Zeppelin. I might stop at Dead Zeppelin. In fact, actually, what I'll do is I will start with Damnation Valley and then go into Alpine Blitz from the last mission into Alpine Blitz and then proceed to the last mission of Alpine Blitz, which will take me into Dead Zeppelin, but I won't do Dead Zeppelin. I'll do Dead Zeppelin tomorrow, and I will do Terminal Lab to do. What I'll do is I'll proceed forward with this mission and this mission, and I'll cut. I won't do the last mission of the second DLC, and I proceed forward to this mission and this mission, but I won't do the last mission of the third DLC. So what I just did today was I did the first and the second mission of the DLC, and I did the last one as well, but I didn't complete the last mission of the last DLC. So I did the first mission and the last mission of this. I did the first mission and then the last mission of this. And then I did, since this mission, I did the first and I'm not even sure how many missions this had. Yeah, I did the first, second, third, and led up to the last mission. So what I didn't do, I didn't leave the missions. I ended up doing the second and third because someone was in my party. So what I'll do this time, I'll stay on the course this time, regardless if someone's in my party, and I'll leave. And to make things go faster, I'll do these two. So hopefully, in the cooperative circle, I browse, find out someone's doing it, but no one's doing it. You see what I mean by DLC? People will play the regular game, but hardly anyone plays the DLC. One, because they don't want to pay for it. because this game was on sale and they got it for cheap. And DLCs, I think they cost about $6.99 a piece. And no one wants to pay for each individual missions a piece. Because what it is each of these missions, you could buy each of these missions individually, or you could buy them as a DLC pack, which will cost like $14.99 or something like that. Yeah, $14.99. And the first mission here was like $3.99. This one was like $3.99 or something like that. And then this one was also $3.99. And then it came up to like $14-15 plus tax. I'm not even 100% sure. I think it's like $5, something like that. $15 for this one. But the last DLC came up to about almost the price of this game itself, like about the price of the game. So it was like $34 and change. So no one wants to do that. No one wants to pay $6.99 for an individual mission, because that's how much its cost for the later games. It was like $6.99 per mission type. So that's almost equal, or not almost, but equal to the price for one DLC. The third DLC, which is this mission, costs equal the price of the actual game itself. And people are saying, well, why would I pay this amount for 3 maps for almost the price of the game itself? That's why no one plays it. But I only purchased it because I like Zombie RE4 and I like a completed story. And if the people give me a completed story, I want to see the game all the way through. And there are people who pay for it. But what you have to do if you're going to pay for the DLC, you have to pay for them in portions. So once you get off work, or once you get your paycheck, or whatever things that you do with your pay, or your family gives you money, or whoever, every time you get money, just a small bit, purchase at least one map. You don't have to buy the entire DLC. The fun part about this game allows you, unlike most other games, it allows you to purchase one individual map rather than purchase an entire DLC, and then it comes with a certain amount of maps. So this is the good part about this game that I like. One of the good parts, a very good part of the game that I like, that you could purchase a map, or you could purchase an accessory or a decoration without having it being part of the DLC. You carry it over into your regular game, or you carry it over into your DLC. So let's say you do the overview for each of these DLC missions, and you say, well, that sucks. I don't like that. I don't like the sound of that. You go on YouTube and you look up how people play the DLCs, and then you say, well, none of these interest me whatsoever at all. And the only one that might interest me would be the one that has to do with the Count in the castle, because it's like Dracula or something. Or the only one that might interest me might be Terminal Error, because it has to do with a robot, with a giant robot brain using enemies. So it has to do with a machine, it doesn't have to do with zombies, even though it uses zombies. So these two are more different than the regular game. So you might be thinking, well, there are only really 2 games that are good out of DLC. Now you could say it's Blood Count, Terminal Error, but there are much more. But if you're really tight on money, you would obviously pick Blood Count or Terminal Error. But if you're the type that actually wants to see the end of the game, you will purchase Return to Hell and not go through any other DLCs. And that's the fun part about this game. I actually really like that feature added to the game that most games today do not have. They would make you purchase the entire freaking DLC in order to play the various maps, rather than a portion of the maps within the DLC. Where, as you progress forward through the game, the people who made the game allow you to decide what game you want to play. Just like when you're playing missions, the missions that you start from the beginning of the game, the very first mission is dead ahead. All these missions, from the very first game down to the last mission, Hell Machine, these are all selectable as you play. They're not locked off and you have to unlock them by beating the first level. And then next one and next one, so on and so forth. They're all available as you play. So you go from first game to the last game instead of within the last video. And this is how this game is more interesting, more fun that way. You could buy individual mission and maps for the DLC. But for the actual game, you get these all together in one lump sum. All the first regulars, all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 maps. You get these 9 maps within the game itself. No DLCs or nothing. On sale for like $20 or something when it's on sale. When this game first came out, it was like 40 or 50 bucks. I think it doesn't deserve that 40 or $50 rating. I think at most it deserved a $35 rating. $35 rating. I was saying you could argue and say it's worth $40 based on content, based on the design of the characters, their skins, weapon choices, different hats, different artwork that's used. But that has nothing to do with the core aspects of the game. So for just 9 maps for something to be more than $40 I wouldn't say isn't balanced. For 9 maps for $20, that's incredibly fair. But for more than $40, that's not fair at all. Because it might seem like it's not a lot of money, but these people are making money off thousands of people. So $40 for a game multiplies up to a lot. By thousands of people, multiplies up to a lot per each state, within every state within the United States of America. And each cities within every state of the United States of America. So $40 per every 1,000 or so people within a certain district of a city located within a state is also a lot of money. So believe me, $40 was not good enough for just 9 maps. I would say if you're going to make 9 or 10 maps, you have to give a lot more than what you're offering for like $40. So when this game came out, when it was like $50 or something like that, I never purchased it. Even when it was at 40, I never purchased it because I heard it was only like 10 maps or so. And I believe that 10 maps equal to like maybe you get to spend about 1 hour per each map, but no one wants to spend an entire hour within a map. So I already knew that wasn't true. So it was more like, I think it was more like 30 to 40 minutes within a map, and then I realized that that's not good enough either for 10 maps. So it's like, even if you did spend an hour within 10 maps, or 9 maps in this case, that's what 1 hour per map. It's like 10 hours, 10 hours, 10 maps, 10 hours. In this case, there are 9 of them, it's 9 hours. So this is like a 9-hour, 10-hour game in the campaign section from beginning to end. And that's fair. That's fair. That's not good, but that's decent. It goes about above the 8-hour marker. And some missions are lighter than others, I would say. So this roughly is about anywhere from 8 to 10-hour game on the regular gameplay. And the DLC seems to be somewhat longer, or almost equal to that same time. So if you include the time period from the original game, regular game, which is, if you lump them all together, the distance of how long it takes to complete a mission before you get all the way to Hell Machine to end, and then you lump it on to Terror Lab and everything leading all the way to Return to Hell, you could get up to about a good 25 hours, 24, 25 hours, or even less if certain missions are smaller. I'd say maybe about 15 hours least within the game, from the start of the game to the end of the game if you play it, including the DLCs. You get to the end within 15 or 16 hours. That's if you're running and you know exactly what to do. If you're taking your time, it'll take you anywhere from 20 to 25 hours. But even 20 to 25 hours moving slow, I would say that's the work price for a $40 or $50 game. 20, 25 hours. But 8 hours, 10 hours, no. So what the people who made this game do is like you gotta see people who wants money when you see people who want money. They build certain things, they add certain things within the game, certain features, certain designs, certain aspects of the game, and then they charge a ridiculous amount of money for just one map. So $6.99 for just one map isn't very good at all, and that's why certain people don't play the DLCs. They play the regular game was when it was on sale. And so these people are working hard to not keep this game within the PlayStation market. But in order for it to not be within the PlayStation market, to go as a PlayStation Plus game, because no one's purchasing it, what you have to do is to maintain your audience's interest. And if people don't want to buy the DLCs anymore, they'll have to keep shelling out money out of their pockets to figure out how to keep this game alive until Zombie Army 5 comes out. And then they have to think of a new method completely because buying individual maps is great, but the price for which individual map is not so great. So if you're going to sell individual maps for a certain price, because $6.99 is almost half the price of a ticket for a movie, so you're getting half the price of the ticket for one map of a DLC. So that's not that great. So to balance things out, within each of those maps, we have to offer things that are of value, so the characters could play, or people who play the game can enjoy the game. So I would say that's what they need to do with the next Zombie Army. Don't just make it a new looking tile set, bigger map, and more fancier looking clothes and fancier looking weapons. Might have to offer them more value within the actually play the gameplay of the game itself, that to make it each map feels like a worthwhile experience, not an extension of the overall plot. That they feel like their own individual entities, but they're leading towards the same overall goal. Like they each feel like each individual movies or separate movies playing out and have their own mini bosses and bosses playing out as they do, but it has to feel more fluid than just a map section attached to another map section or separated map sections, um, where certain things that are done within that map can't be done within other map, or certain things that you can access can't be done within other map, but you can unlock them once you beat certain things of certain maps. So let's say, for instance, you could only use a zip line within a mission, but you can't do it within another map. Well, once you achieve do certain amount of zip lines within that mission, you'll finally be able to unlock zip lining, and then you'll be able to transfer it over to other missions within other maps. And what I mean by zip lines, I mean not just zip lining, but zip lining while you're shooting zombies in the zip line, and slow motion moving while you're zip lining. And though that might seem normal, but in Zombie Army, if you're ziplining going slow motion while you're ziplining, um, it's actually a great thing. It's better than you might think. Or let me put it even better. Let's say you're skateboarding, and Zombie Army doesn't do skateboards because this is during the time way back in the day when skateboarding wasn't really a thing. But you're using, um, I guess you could say, a door as a skateboard, or a zombie as a skateboard. or even not a skateboard. You could just be doing tricks on a motorbike, a German motorbike or American motorbike during the World War II era, World War One era, and killing zombies with your motorbike. And that only happens within one mission, but if you unlock it by doing certain tricks within that mission, if you go and play it over, let's say you do 4 or 5 tricks with that mission, which are challenges, you finally be able to unlock that specific bike that's then transferred over to other maps. Like in other maps, you will see the bike, but you're unable to access the bike until said mission is accomplished. And each of the games should be like that. Or, like if you're going to offer like $7 or $8 or $6 for a map, person who purchased a map, you have to offer something that's worthwhile within those specific maps, value to those specific maps that could transfer over to other games or transfer into that map specifically, so that when you do have access to that map, you will always have that perk above anyone else because you were able to do that challenge, but which will also offer the same thing to others who are willing to unlock it in comparison to those who are unwilling to unlock it, yet they're still able to play the mission, which gives more value to that specific mission, but you're not going to be able to use it in other missions unless you unlock certain challenges to use it in other missions. So you have certain perks for that bike killing in that mission, and you're able to unlock it and use it anywhere in the game, or traverse it and use the bike and move around rather than just walking with the bike in the mission. That's just one access to it, and then to access it by transferring over to other maps and use it to killing enemies within other maps as well. That's a huge thing. That's a very huge thing in order to use a motorcycle off a map. When you purchase an individual map and get that specific perk, and finally be able to transfer it into your regular game or into other DLC section of the games once you unlock it, which won't be easy. Obviously, it's going to be a challenge, but it'll be worth money just to do that. Unfortunately, Zombie Army doesn't have that. The most they have unlocked are unique characteristic perks towards guns, which you have to unlock, which is fun and all, but it doesn't seem like it's worth the value of buying an individual map. Like if you're going to buy something individual, you have to have something specific tailored to that map, that's value to that map, for which they have to buy that specific perk or buy that specific map itself in comparison to every other map. Because once I bought the DLCs, I got the weapons that come with those DLCs. But if you just buy one map, you only have one specific weapon tailored to that specific mission. So that now you'll still be able to get what you want when you want it and able to use it in any game without worrying about the weapons for this one and this one. Give people the options to look at their table buffet of what they want to pick and choose and put on their plate. That's all I'm saying. And that's what they should do for the next one. So I'm going to go on to Damnation Valley. I'm going to pick the first mission. I'm going to put it on hard, 2 players, and then I'll move forward. Now, I could put this on 3-player hard, because as you can see, we barely made it through the last mission on 2-player hard. But it's not really brutal and nightmare, so I'll try 3-player hard. I'll see how brutal it is. I mean, the guy that was with me was just one guy. I think if we had like 3 times the amount of enemies, we would have died in that last mission. I would have had to start it over again. But that's the whole point of the challenge. You triple up the amount of enemies per mission. And what I'm doing is playing on hard and doubling up the amount of missions for myself on hard mode. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to triple the amount of enemies on hard mode for myself. Now, as I said before, if I browse and I see no one playing any of the DLCs except Terra Lab, but I already did Terra Lab. But this person is playing Dead Zeppelin, default medium. So I'm gonna join theirs and then show you Dead Zeppelin. They might kick me, they might not kick me. But the whole point is not to play this game on hard, but is actually do certain missions and to show the result of the game. So someone's playing Return to Hell and someone's playing Dead Zeppelin. I believe I should play Dead Zeppelin first and show the map and show how that works out, because Blood Count was good. Different type of feel to it, different type of atmosphere, and the costumes as well. Not only that, but the blood count are attached to a certain character, and disguise. Yeah, everything works out fine. We'll see. So I was going to do Alpine Blitz, but I'll do Dead Zeppelin, and I'll probably do Alpine Blitz on my own time, or I'll probably go in reverse order. Now, as you can see, Dead Zeppelin is already a more open, spacious location in comparison to missions within the regular game. So it's already showing a certain type of atmosphere that's different from the zombie army location maps. Far brighter, far more areas to traverse, but also have far more tighter corners once you get into buildings and certain things. Like you could legitimately fall to your death if you ran off the edge. So we'll see how this game goes.
set. Defending. Grenade here. I saw you like
That was the first mission. That was the first mission, and you had to take out the guns. It's a very open area, but it's also a tight area. And if you fall off, you fall into your death. And if you can be locked off and closed within those tight corridors, and get killed as well. So you have to know how to traverse. So it's a very interesting map. I believe it's one of the more interesting map of Dead Zeppelin and inside the game itself. To be in this open areas like huge towers floating above the ground, and then guns on top of those huge towers. You gotta take out those guns. Then you have to dodge snipers and then dodge enemies. But at the same time, I have to always worry about falling to your death, um, which is also something different than the other location maps. So this one, I'm gonna see if someone is doing. They're not doing the end of Dead Zeppelin. Um, See, it's difficult to know where in Dead Zeppelin these people are. So what you do is you join a mission, and if it says Dead Zeppelin Chapter 1, that means you're in the wrong one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to host Dead Zeppelin Chapter 4. Meatbag. And I guess I could keep it on medium 4 to make it somewhat difficult. But it'll be on medium 4 anyway. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing the last mission. So I should be able to get to Alpine Blitz pretty easy. Um, Main reason why you would jump onto someone else's um, mission, someone else's cooperative mission, is because if your broadband is weak, but yet still able to play in co-op, you can join others who have a stronger broadband. Which is, like I said before, is kind of stupid on their part to have a game that has an engine that focuses on that type of nonsense. It's very old school, and I don't know why they they use that type of engine. But who knows?
Whew. Made it. So Bruno, you know much about heavy machinery?
Okay. Trapped inside a giant Nazi zombie war machine. We've been here before. Edie, any ideas?
I'm not sure you can pilot it.
Yeah, so that was the end of that mission, and now we're on the
You're no pilot.
fourth
Not
mission,
at all.
and I'm hosting it on medium 4.
I can still hear the Z5 cockpit.
Um, I
That means
still don't
everything on the
understand why they
side
decided to use an engine
isn't
that
Zeppelin.
can only run a certain amount of people's um,
They've taken the Z5
network connections
and built a
without the
Zeppelin
amount of
around
strength
it.
needed to hold all
He's
people
surprised.
playing the same network without bugging others or lagging others. But the engine, based on who's prioritized towards your host cooperative squad, connecting to their network towards the main server, and then run that engine of that gameplay of everyone's and connect it to that person's network while strengthening that person. I guess they could strengthen that person's network, but the engine is not powerful enough for that. It's rather weak, and probably doesn't even do that whatsoever at all. It's probably is only based on if your network is strong enough to be able to put you all together. But if someone has a weaker network, it's probably probably more difficult for them to play the game with a group of others who have stronger ones, which I don't like at all. People should be able to play the game, whether it's on solo or in cooperative, equally. So whether you're playing onto your own network and the game runs smooth because you're directly connecting towards the main parent server, and the engine's running for just you to run the parent server, you shouldn't have to be bogged down because you're now running with cooperative with other people's network, and then have to since it has to connect to this person network with connect to that person network. That confusion shouldn't be there whatsoever at all in today's modern technology. You should understand that that type of lag happens on a standard basis, and you should prepare in advance to know that some people will always have shitty network and some people will always have good network, and lag will happen regardless if there are interruptions within a network based on whoever's using. I take someone who's the main host, cooperative person who's the main host, have network issues with whatever's going on in the house. Multiple people join onto their network connections. That should not interrupt other people's network or lag them out or whatsoever, simply because the main person who's on the main server that they're connecting to is having issues. They should be able to play in that cooperative circle without dependency on the lag of that person's network whatsoever. It should be like one big chair rather than each individual chairs trying to connect to each other. Should be just one big chair that everyone network can go inside or sit on, and then that chair takes you on the lift to wherever you need to go to, regardless of the amount of people who are sitting there. And the only strain will be the weight of those individuals on that chair itself. Which means that the chair itself has to be built strong enough and have the engine to move it strong enough to move it, regardless of what weight is on there. So it really is based on the type of engine they chose to have with regards to what power is needed to lift everyone's network equally without holding anyone back or wibbly wobbling while they're sitting on that chair. So they really took kind of the cheap route, but I understand they're not AAA, but at the same time, that cheaper route is what will cost them from being AAA or from other people purchasing that game, and it will always be there if they don't do something about it.
Made it.
You still got that thermite on you? First step should be to sabotage the bomb bay.
Plant the tripwire. need a Nazi officer's quarters.
Sounds like they were planning on living the high life during the reign of terror. Luckily, they were caught out when Hitler activated the relic early.
Damn! It's heavy.
Concentrate on blowing up the Nazi zombie zeppelin, please. Look for the pressure relief valves. If you can open some of those, they'll reduce the boiling point of the coolant.
that was that was um that was Dead Zeppelin. So from the first mission of Dead Zeppelin to the last mission of Dead Zeppelin, it's pretty interesting. Um, I think what it is though, but they invest more money this time within the cutscenes, beginning, middle, and end cutscenes. Not so much every cutscene that leads to a different episode, but the beginning intro cutscene and the ending cutscene are far more dramatic than with the regular game. That said, I think what it is that they might have invested more within those dramatic cutscenes, which is a good thing. But it's strange. I'm trying to understand that why certain games that are not AAA just can't do certain things within the mission. I mean, it's not like it's too complicated. I think they spend probably more money creating those animated scenes than maybe something like creating a bike that can do certain effects cheaply and easier within the mission. Um, Maybe the idea of these things were too fairy tale or too outside of the imagination, but when people purchase a product, it's not for a cutscene or for a movie value. It's more for a compelling story and inclusions within the actual gameplay itself rather than just a hollow version of the story or a version of a story or based on different squad experiences and missions. I'm not exactly sure what the execution was for the zombie army 4 in comparison to the other zombie armies, but I'm pretty sure that if they have done specific individual things within each of these maps, tailored to those maps specifically, and then they're unlockable within the mission, if you're able to do it, you can then transfer those individual things onto other maps, and they will be available but unlockable. And if that's too difficult for them, but maybe when they first created the game, they weren't thinking about certain things and how to code in order to operate within the system of those codes that are already set there, or how to layer them properly so that they don't interfere with the actually original code. So I believe there should always be an opening, like a spacious opening within the code that allow for inclusions of additional things in case they were to arrive. But I'm pretty sure that as a test run they did it probably multiple times, but maybe it comes from a place of the people when they're higher up. They believe that you should only give them a little and then have them ask for more. And then just give them a little and then have them ask for more and just keep giving them more when they ask for more. However, if keep giving a little, they ask for more, keep giving a little, they ask for more. Eventually that becomes tiring. And then the people who are asking for more eventually figure out what you're doing. And that usually happens past the second asking for more. When it happens on the third, you ask for more. And once you get to the third part of that, when it comes to any game, people start to see exactly the colors of the people who made the game. For instance, um, what's the name of that game? Outlast 2. People automatically saw the vision of the people who made that game from the first game to the second game quite clearly. That's why we never saw a third Outlast, or they're taking so long to make a third Outlast, or they're not going to do a third Outlast whatsoever at all, because it received more negative than in comparison to the first game. Either they forgot or they decided to go outside the box and planes of their area and to do something very different, but they didn't stick within that means and give people a little additive and taste every now and again, but at the same time they didn't. I think they went far to the left, and they should have gone. I mean, they went to the left, but I think they went a little too far to the left, and they should have gone. I think they wanted to make it too much different and that's what made that game kind of fail. I kind of the same thing with this game as well. I think you offer gamers certain things within the game, such as weapons, such as skins, all these things. But if there's nothing compelling towards within the gameplay that's interesting for that individual location map, they're not going to want to play the other maps. It has to be something that get them to want to play the other maps, not just the same repeated stuff on the previous map or the ones before that, and be able to transfer that over to the other maps. And it works well. And then when that's all done, then you can worry about creating new things for future games and give yourself enough time. Now, at the same time, certain people say, well, how long will it take me to unlock this or complete certain challenges? Well, as long as you don't bog it down, that becomes annoying. It has to take you more than a week just to unlock a certain feature for an ability. Then you're fine. If it takes about more than 24 hours, if you're playing consistently, then good. If it takes more than a week, then it's bad. In fact, even if it takes more than 3 days, it's bad for just one ability. But if you require you to take more than 24 hours, then that's fine because people can work more than 24 hours to unlock something. If the challenge in order to unlock it requires your patience, your time, or at least your effort. If you don't have the patience, the time, or the effort, it requires your skill. So it's either skill or patience or time. And most people don't have patience or time, but then it requires skill. And if you don't have the skill to do it, you have to practice how to do it. And if you don't want to be lectured and practice how to do it, you just want to enjoy the experience, you purchase packs to play the game. But if you purchase packs to play the game for a mission, you'll be able to do certain things in the mission that other people who don't want to do those things will be able to do. But at the same time, it will still limit you towards what you can do because you didn't earn it. You pay for something that gives you a boost and a bonus advantage over other people, but you didn't earn your way. So you have to have uh, an inline that people who purchase bundles and packs can't cross. Something that could only attain by earning it, and then something equally on the plan for those who don't want to earn it. To purchase that thing that they don't want because they don't want to earn it, and use said things, said weapons, said vehicle, whatever, within the mission, and have it work for them and to make it enjoyable for them. But at the same time, it doesn't have the extreme value with someone who's earned it. And when someone buys a gun or a weapon or a sword and works, and it's great because they purchased it, so they don't have to go through the struggles of going to those levels from the beginning of the game to end of the game by struggling. At the same time, it still, I would say, takes not half, but should put it at 35 or 40%. Give them an additional boost. Anything more than 25%, give 30% boost towards their overall attack from weakest character to strongest character, so that it doesn't feel like the person who's playing using that said bonus bundle purchase is OP as hell. Because when they get to the halfway point within the game, fighting the halfway enemies, it doesn't matter if they're purchasing whatever sword or gun, that enemy is still difficult and takes some time to destroy. And they're able to do it much better than what they have that would need to take them time to upgrade. But at the same time, that enemy is not easy regardless of what weapon you have. The people who have really thought about games have thought about this. And a lot of people who really just want things their own way and want the easy route, who want to purchase something that can obliterate the boss or something with ease without the headaches. And that's where the fine line must be met. But like again, I mean, you could purchase something at a very high value to destroy said boss or make your mission easier. But regardless of whether you want to destroy your boss easier or make a mission easier, the boss still isn't going to be easy to beat. You just have the capability to beat him easier. So he's still strong and you can still kick your ass and still this. And you wonder why you purchased the fact that the boss is still this difficult with it. Because you have an advantage. You're not supposed to have that advantage. In order to boost you the assistant to beat him easier, you're supposed to do it the hard way. But you didn't do it the hard way, you purchased it, but the boss is still difficult. The people who make the games, or who are wise enough to make the games, don't understand this. They say, well, I shouldn't buy it, I should have earned it my own way. But you had the choice. You knew that, and you wanted to get to the end fast. This is how the game is set. You're having a boost and makes you kill the boss much faster, but the boss can still kill you regardless. And it could be end game towards the game if you're not careful and tactical. So it's how you play the game more than what the weapons you're carrying. And I believe that's the same that goes for this game and every other game. So I'm going to end it on Dead Zeppelin for today. I was going to go on Alpine Blitz, but I think the best thing I should do is continue tomorrow with Alpine Blitz, Damnation Valley, and Terminal Error, and Abandoned Hope. These 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These 5 ones. I'll continue tomorrow. So I did this one today. I did Deeper Than Hell, Blood Count, and I did some portion of Terror Lab. So from my experience, this is probably, in comparison to the regular game itself, Death Canal is very interesting. Zombie Zoo, not so much. Hell Machine is very interesting. So Hell Base, Death Canal, and Hell Machine are very interesting missions. Then first, I would say from the beginning of the game to the end of the game, Death Canal is probably one of the better ones. In fact, probably the best one. Um, Hell Machine is the second best, and it's between Meat Locker and Hell Base. So I would say Meat Locker and Hell Base. These 4 ones are probably the best within the game. And then all the others are average or subpar. So in the DLC, however, I would say not much can beat out Hell Machine and Death Canal within the DLC. But based on what I've seen and played, I would say Blood Count is very interesting. I wouldn't say we beat them out. And Alpine Blitz is also very interesting. And Terminal Lab is very interesting as well. So it's Terminal Lab, Alpine Blitz, and Blood Count to me is my favorite. And I would say from the point of view of the DLC, I would say Blood Count is equivalent to that of Meat Locker or Death Canal in DLC. And there's pretty much nothing that can compare to Hell Machine, because you get to fight Hitler and everything. But anything that comes close within the DLC, I would have to say is Terminal Error and Return to Hell. So, and that Zeppelin is right up there too. So, the DLCs aren't the greatest, but the DLCs are far better than the stories of the game itself. The DLC missions are better than Dead Ahead. The DLC missions are better than Zombie Zoo. I mean, it's a zoo, but it doesn't even feel like a zoo. The DLCs are far better than Rotten Coast. The DLCs are better than Multiple Nightmare, and All Roads Lead to Hell. So the best ones within the original game are Death Canal, I would say Meat Locker, Zombie Zoo, and Hellbase and Hell Machine. Those 5. But just those 5. Everything else is average. And some of them are subpar. And Blood Count is very good. If you want to purchase that map individually, it's not the greatest, But if you want something that I would say that's very, very good and very difficult, I would go with Alpine Blitz. I would go with Terminal Error and Return to Hell. So Return to Hell, Terminal Error, Alpine Blitz from the DLC. And if you're into Halloween spirit, I would go with Blood Count. So the best ones of the DLC are Blood Count, Alpine Blitz, Terminal Error, and Return to Hell. And Dead Zeppelin is right and running as well. So there's four. There's four of them within the DLC that are actually good. And there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, so with the comparison to the DLC is well balanced. You got 4 that are average, and you got 4 that are actually good. Whereas in the actual game itself, you got 4 that are actually good, and then everything else is average. Like Death Canal is good, Meat Locker is good, Zombie Zoo is good, and then everything else is average until you get to Hellbase and Hell Machine. So you got 1, 2, 3, about 5 out of 9. I would say, yeah, I would say the regular game is worth purchasing for the regular maps. You only beat it out by one map, but to be completely 100% honest, Meat Locker really is not that good. Death Canal is good. Zombie Zoo really isn't that good, to be honest with you. 100% honest. Hellbase and Hell Machine to me are more fun. Um, I had more fun playing Death Canal. I had more fun um, playing Meat Locker than I did playing Zombie Zoo, to be honest. And I had more fun playing Hellbase than I did have Multi Nightmare. So now I really think about it. Everything is bricks about even. There are 4 stores within the regular game, and there are 4 within the regular game that are also bad. And then you have Hell Machine, which is the 9th one, which is also good. So you have 4 bad ones here and 4 good ones. Good ones being Death Canal, Meat Locker, Hellbase, and Hell Machine. And then all the others are pretty much average. And then DLC, you have the Terror Labs, you have Blood Count, you have Alpine Blitz, you have Terminal Error, and you have Return to Hell. Or, I guess, depending on your taste, Abandoned Asylum. So the DLCs are well balanced, and I would say the main story is also well balanced with an additional one, a 9th one to throw into the mix, which can be said that could be bad or could be good. So the first one is average, second one's good, third one is actually good. Now I think about it, third one is good, fourth one is average. People like Zombie Zoo, but you're just at a zoo and there's zombies in it. There are no animals or anything, so there's no point. It just looks like a zoo area. Um, it would be fun if there were actually zombie bears and stuff, but that's not the point. So it kind of defeats its own purpose. So Death Canal, Meat Locker, um, Home Base, and Home Machine. That's 4. Yeah, so everything within the game, for both the average game itself and the DLCs, they play themselves out averagely. So just like the rating of this game, I would say it's about an average game. Um, it's a little bit above average, and I think everything that I've said with regards to this game comes across as a little bit above average. The people who executed this game did it the way that they wanted to do it and did the majority of everything right in comparison to other things that were done wrong. I would say that they accomplished what they needed to accomplish, but it wasn't great. They just did it and got the job done and did it accurately and gave you a little bit of fun at the side and a little bit of extras at the side to make you want to come back for more. But it's just a little. That's why it's like in the 6 point something range on Game Fans or Game Facts and Metacritics and other streaming networks. They give it like a 6. Some people gave it a 5. Well, I would say this game is about accurately anywhere from a 6.7, 6.7 to a 6.8 game. Originally, I had it at a 7, but then I had to dock it down due to certain problems. I already docked it down from anything from before, uh, and I considered seriously those things, but now I think about it, it really is a 6.7 game. I had to take that extra point away for certain things that are kind of annoying in the game, but all in all, it's a game that breaks even. It's not the greatest game, but it's definitely not a terrible game. It's a good game, and it's definitely not boring. It's just that you have to know what settings you're on. If you crank that bad boy up to like hard mode, and then put it at quadruple the type of enemies, you're now on hard mode with quadruple type of enemies, which is not recommended, but if you're able to do it, you'll be able to get through it much easier. Or you decide to put it on brutal, and even brutal in default takes away a majority of your setup. Um, and it really depends on your skill. Once you're in brutal territory, it really depends on skill more than anything, because this is the hardest level in the game. This is extreme. Brutal is extreme. Hard is something that you would play if you're good at playing video games. Medium is something that you play if you're not good at video games, but you want to get good at playing video games. And easy are something like for children or young people who are just getting into video games. So if you're the average gamer, you fall into this category. But if you've been playing games and you're kind of a vet, this would be the settings you would normally play it on anyway. You would never want to play this game on brutal. You always want to play this game on hard. But even for certain vet players, they'll say, well, maybe the hard isn't that hard. That's why they offer you the ability to up the scale amount of enemies that you want to include within your mission. Or then put it on Nightmare where you only have 2 players and then the 4 times amount of enemies, just 2 players involved. Whereas you have 4 players, 4 double quadruple amount of enemies per 4 players, as well as certain hitting harder factor from the enemies and faster running, so on and so forth. So this is not an easy game. Anyone who thought it's a boring and easy game don't know what they're talking about. It depends on your difficult ratings, and this game you can crank that difficult up to a ridiculous amount if you want to. If you really, really want to go extreme, you can go Nightmare times 4 level enemies, and that's something you would never want to do. Or you can go Brutal on Nightmare times 4 enemies, which is basically hell on earth. Like Doomslayer type stuff, but not Doomslayer hell on earth average gameplay, like Doomslayer hell on earth on extreme mode. So yeah, that's how that would be. So I would call it a day for this game. And I just wanted to see what the DLCs were like and how they play out and how they mesh out. And I wanted to make a record in regards to this to see in comparison to other games. Is it more fluid? Does it look better? We're executing certain activities. Is traversal better? And I would say it's about average with regards to the original setup for the game, with certain tweaks and certain things that are minorly different from the original game, such as atmosphere, such as effects, such as weapon types, such as skins, such as animation. Things run more smoother, but are just a little bit more additives. But all in all, Zombie Army is a 6.7 game for me. We'll never put this game at 6.5 or below 6.5. This to me is a 6.7. That's the rate I'll keep it at, unless for God knows what reason I might find something that is a hugely annoying thing that I couldn't find 2 weeks ago or a month ago that just stuck in there now and didn't realize before. And then I could see dropping it to about a 6.6. But I doubt it. I mean, I've gone through every scenarios in this game. I looked over everything. And maybe if I'm blind to something I didn't realize it was there before because I didn't consider it to be an important factor of the game, maybe then. But I doubt it. I think this really is a 6.7 game. Um, and I think anyone who has it lower than that, um, lower than 6.5 or 6.6 or 6.7, don't know what they're talking about. I mean, you could have this game at a 6.5, but you could never have this game below a 6.5. And to be honest with you, if you have this game as a 6.5, you're actually doing a disservice to the people who played this game or made this game, or those who evaluated the game or did the game over multiple times. And I doubt people who evaluate those games play this game multiple times to see what are the goods and bads of it. So to me, this is a 6.7 game. You really gotta look at everything. Drop shows, effects, everything, every aspect. And most reviewers don't do that, and the ones that do that, they eventually miss certain things. So it's around the same ballpark at 6.5, but with two more additional points. I would never drop this below 6.7. That's it for this video.